Today's video is on the story A Buckeye Hollow Inheritance by Bret Harte. In this video, I'll first give you the author's profile. Then we'll analyze the plot, the setting, the themes, and the message in the story. But before we start, I will encourage you to subscribe to this channel because you'll be having more interesting videos like this in the coming days. Now, let's start with the author's profile. Bret Harte is an American short story writer and poet. He was born in 1836 and he died in 1902. His writing career spanned 4 decades as he traveled throughout America and Europe writing short stories and poems. He is best remembered for his short stories featuring the California Gold Rush. This story, A Buckeye Hollow Inheritance, is one of those stories which illustrates how luck can work in our favor in striking gold and wealth. Now, what is the plot of the Buckeye Hollow Inheritance? The story starts with the men who own the Zip Corn Lodge, a mining claim, as they were settling down for another boring day or usual day. Unexpectedly, a telegram arrives for Jocelinda Wells, one of the men. In the telegraph, he was told that his uncle Quincy Wells, who lives at Buckeye Hollow, has died and willed him his property. Jocelinda Wells takes it as a joke. As he told the other men who gathered around him, his uncle was so poor that the property amounted to nothing. That sets the stage for the story. Ned Wingate, one of his colleagues, enunciates the central theme of the story. That is, looks can be deceptive. His uncle might have appeared poor, but his property might be hiding some stashes of fortune or gold, which he has been saving for a long time. Jackson laughs it off. He says there is nothing to eat. The lawyer who is to administer the will was coming the next day to find out if Jackson would claim the property. His colleagues tell him to claim it just for the sake of having a property, even if it was worthless. When the lawyer arrives, his colleagues make the lawyer believe that Jackson was interested in the claim. The lawyer tells him that the property was willed to him because the daughter of his uncle, Jocelinda Wells, had deserted her father and gone to live with a rich uncle who lived in the town. There was a possibility that Jocelinda Wells could contest the claim. Jackson, reluctantly, being prodded by his colleagues, tells the lawyer he would claim the property. In a sentence that changed his life, he told the lawyer, let's quote the paragraph. But by this time, Jocelinda Wells, although really dubious about supplanting the orphan, had gathered the sense of his partners and said with a frank show of decision, I think I must stand by the will. So you see here that Jackson, by saying I think I must stand by his will, would never know that he was making himself one of the richest men in Buckeye Hollow. The property had much worth. But let's continue with the story. So by claiming the property becomes his. When Jackson visits the property at Buckeye Hollow, the place is deserted, overgrown with vegetables and shrubs. Jackson was convinced that the property was worthless. But due to the influence of his colleagues, he decides to tidy up the place and make it habitable. He later learns that the uncle whom Jocelinda Wells was living with, Mr. Brown, was interested in the property. No one knows why, but that he had been contesting it since Quincy Wells was alive. Jackson decides that he will sell the property to Mr. Brown, but that was when Jocelinda discovers why her uncle was interested in the property. There was gold on it. She reveals the discovery to Jackson, who was on the verge of selling it to Mr. Brown. Jackson realizes that he was sitting on fortune all along. Now, the setting. There are 2 settings in the story. First, the Zip Corn Lodge. When Jackson Wells and his colleagues are getting ready for their routine at the Zip Corn Lodge, their mining claim, it starts like every other day and ends with Jackson inheriting a property at Buckeye Hollow. The author lays out the drama in the story in this initial setting. Ned Wingate makes the lawyer to assume falsely that Jocelinda Wells is interested in the claim. the men urging Jackson Wells to claim the property, although he was against it. And the fear Jackson Wells has that his cousin, the daughter to his uncle, Jocelinda Wells, will come after him, because when they were children, they were always at each other's throats. The second setting is at Buckeye Hollow, the property that Jackson Wells inherits. The narrator sets the same pace or the same pattern as that of the first setting, from the mundane to the spectacular. First, Jackson finds the property deserted, overgrown with shrubs and vegetables. Then, he had to encounter Jocelinda Wells, who comes for the plants she had grown. He was somewhat strengthened when a sign was posted at the gate, calling him an impostor, which source he thought was Mr. Brown. Jackson Wells' colleagues from the zip code lodge visit him and promise him they will deal roughly with Mr. Brown if he threatens Jackson. Finally, when it seems as if hope is lost, and it seems as if Jackson in frustration will sell the property to Mr. Brown, his cousin Jocelinda Wells discovers gold on the property at the banks of the stream, something her uncle, Mr. Brown, has suspected was on the property all along, and a secret he didn't want to reveal to them. Now, what are the themes in the story? The story hinges on the fact that Jackson was disappointed with the property. His disappointment shows all the time in his speech about giving the property over to Jocelinda Wells if she wants a claim, or to Mr. Brown if he wants to buy it. And he would have sold the property to Mr. Brown if Jocelinda had not acted quickly. Rice, one of Jackson's colleagues, embodies the whole idea of the story in one statement. Let me quote his statement. It says, "He found that gold in opening these irrigating trenches, the usual nigger luck, finding what we are not looking after." So that's what Rice was trying to say. Nigger luck, or luck, was playing his hands. Jackson would find what he was not looking after. The story was all about luck dealing us a good hand when we least expect it. Something considered to be trash could eventually turn out to be a gold mine. Like the proverbial saying, the rejected stone has become the cornerstone. So what's the message from the story? The message of the story is this: never give up, no matter how frustrating your situation might seem. Even if it seems like you are in a dark tunnel with no light at the end, never give up. Keep on struggling. You could be as lucky as Jackson and Jocelinda Wells. In Jackson's case, he had lost hope, but in Jocelinda's case, she knew all along that her uncle was hiding something from them due to his renewed interest in the property. She did her research and found out her uncle was cunning. There was gold on the property. You could strike your own lucky gold if you keep hustling, just like I am doing. Your gold could be in what you thought was trash. Your gold could be in opportunities you only need knowledge to see. Your Mr. Brown could be hiding that knowledge from you. So never give up. Keep on hustling. Know that the more you walk towards your goals, the nearer you get closer to them. And luck could work in your favor. It could deal you a good hand, just as it did Jackson, and you will get what you want. So that is the analysis of A Buckeye Hollow Inheritance by Bret Harte. I hope you did enjoy it. I did. I will post a link to the story online, so if you want to read it, you can read it online. Also, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, because I'll be posting more interesting videos in the coming days. So as always, I wish you happy reading.